Welcome to In Her Voice. My name is Kelly Covert, and I am passionate about helping women live authentically by listening to their inner voice. Get ready to be inspired by women of all walks of life that have set aside their should-bes and not good enoughs and are standing in their true voice, the voice of wisdom that each and every one of us has inside. Hello, everyone. This is Kelly Covert, and you are listening to episode number 21 of In Her Voice. I am an inner voice coach, and I am so excited that you decided to hit play and join me today because I am talking all about abundance. So for those of you guys who've been listening for a while, you know that on my solo episodes, what I really love to do is talk about what's coming up for me in my own life, because I know that if it's coming up for me, it's certainly coming up for other people too. And so I'm recording this actually on July 7th. Kind of a funny story to tell you because it's a Friday. And normally my solo episodes come out on Thursday, and usually I have them recorded before they come out, obviously. And here I am on Friday, the day after it's supposed to come out, and I'm just now sitting down to record this episode. And the holiday is one reason that I'm a little bit behind, but yesterday my power was out off and on all day long. So I just wasn't able to record, and I felt like it was God telling me today is not the day. So here I am, and I mentioned that it's early July because at the beginning of every month, I sit down and I reflect on the month that has just ended, and I think about going forward in the next month, what I would like my goals to be. And very often they're super specific, number-oriented goals. For example, I want to exercise 4 to 5 times a week. I would like to make sure that I am eating the way my body wants to every single day. So they're goals sort of like that. But this month I decided that I was going to change it up a little bit. And I was super inspired by my interview with Mahoney in episode 18. Make sure you go back and take a listen to that. When we talk about being beers instead of doers. So instead of thinking about all of the things I'm going to do, who do I want to be? And so when I started creating my goals for July, I decided this was going to be a month of being, and all of my goals were going to be centered around who I want to be or what I want to be this month. I came up with 5 things, and I'm super excited about those things. And this is where my focus is really going. So my things that I want to be this month are strong, focused, brave, present, and abundant. And since abundant was a big one for me, and it's actually been something that's flowing through me for the past couple of months, I really wanted to take some time to dive into that with you guys. And so I've been doing a lot of reading on abundance. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts. I've been listening to audiobooks. I just got done with Jen Sincero's book, You Are a Badass at Making Money, which was hysterical. And it really talks a lot about getting into a mindset of abundance versus a mindset of lack or a mindset of scarcity. And I just want to share some of the things that have been coming up for me as I dig into this idea. So first of all, I love the idea of thinking of abundance in different ways. When we talk about abundance, the first thing that comes to mind, obviously, is finances. Like, sure, I want to be overflowing with money. I want to not have to worry about providing for my family's wants and needs. So that certainly is a big piece of what abundance means and what I'm thinking of when I say abundance. But I think it's so much more than that. So we can have an abundance of energy. Think about those days where you just have to drag yourself out of bed and you don't even want to get up, and the whole day you're just wishing that you could just be home and be back in bed, and there's no energy, there's no zip to you. And I really want to have an abundance of energy. I want to be full of life, overflowing with life every single day. So energy is a place where we can have abundance. I want to have an abundance of creativity and ideas, right? Because that is how we create things that can bring in abundance in different areas of our life, like finances. When we open ourselves up to becoming abundant with ideas and becoming abundant with creativity, oh my gosh, we're like opening up this whole host of possibilities that could come to us, that is available to us. And that to me is really, really exciting. I love the idea of having an abundance of connections. And this was super inspired by episode 20 with Melissa Reeves. She talked about this idea of putting the connection with our children first. And then we kind of went into this idea of like, what if we start putting our connections with everyone first? What if that's what we're seeking? An abundance of connections. When I go to Target, having a connection with the person that I see that I love her outfit on, having a connection with my barista at Starbucks, having a connection with my bank teller, having a connection with my loved ones, really making that effort and noticing and understanding that we have the ability to be overflowing with that. And I think the last one that comes to mind that is going to resonate with you guys the most as sort of these alternative ways to think of abundance is time. Okay, so let's be really honest with each other and just raise your hand. You're by yourself most likely listening to this, so no one will be embarrassed, but raise your hand if you've ever said, oh, I'm so busy, I just don't have enough time. I don't have enough time to do the things that I want to do. I don't have enough time to exercise, to plan my meals, to take care of myself, to do something fun with my kids. Whatever the thing is, I feel like we in our society have a tendency to view time as something that's always running out. We're always running out of time. When we focus on what we're losing, that's how it's going to feel all the time. If we're focusing from that place of I'm always running out of time or I never have enough time, it will always feel like that because you know what? You really will see exactly what you're focusing on. So if I'm always focused on, oh my gosh, I'm so busy, I don't have any time, I won't have time. And it will feel real. And it will be real to me because that is the experience that I am creating. But when I look at time as something that's constantly replenishing, I always have another minute, that it's something that is abundant to me. I have exactly enough time to do all of the things that are a priority in my life. That's a complete shift. It's so empowering to feel like my time is abundant. And so instead of saying things like, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have enough time, I can't take on one more thing, you might choose to say something like, my life is so abundant with priorities right now that I'm not going to be able to do that. That completely changes the feeling of that. My schedule is so abundant with fun and fulfilling activities that I'm not going to be able to do that right now. Whoa, that's great. And we all the time go to that I don't have enough time or I wish there were more time. So if we can start to shift our language around that and start to focus on that in a different way, that is super powerful. All of these areas, money, energy, creativity, ideas, connections, time. My goal this month is to really be focused on my abundance in those areas. So I'm shifting that perspective. I'm shifting that mindset to seeing the abundance that I already have. And the cool thing about that is when we're steeped in what we have already in gratitude and we're seeing the abundance of things flowing in, that opens the floodgates for more to flow in. it's going to keep coming and it's going to keep coming. And it's so thrilling. I just feel like when we are living in a place of abundance, when we're living in a place of expecting things to be overflowing for us in the best possible way, that's exactly what happens. I just really want to encourage you guys to get into this mindset of abundance, of expecting to be overflowing with all of the things that you want and desire in your life. And speaking of overflowing, I have an abundance of gratitude for Haley and Mariana, who were my very first 2 Patreon supporters of In Her Voice. So thank you guys so much. I so appreciate what you're doing. I so appreciate your willingness to become a worthy crusader, to say, yes, I will be a part of this movement of women that says I am worthy each and every day. And if you're wondering what I'm talking about, this is my new way that you can join with me to support me in the creation of this podcast, In Her Voice. So if you go to kellycovert.com/together, that will take you to my Patreon page where you can subscribe at a monthly cost of your choosing. And that is your way of supporting In Her Voice, of saying, yes, I am getting so much value out of these podcasts. They are bringing things to my life. They're bringing things to my awareness that I need to think about, that are changing me, that are transforming me. And yes, I want you to keep doing this. I would love for you to join with me in creating a really sustainable way for me to continue to create In Her Voice. And you may say, well, what does the money go to? If I donate or if I subscribe at any level, what is that money going to? Well, it's going towards the time and the energy and the creation of this podcast itself, the recording and the editing and all of the work that's going on behind the scenes. It's paying for hosting, media hosting, and website hosting. And there's a lot of sort of little monthly costs that go into creating a podcast. But more importantly, it's really about creating a way to have a robust sense of honoring the value of this message, the value of saying, I am worthy, the value of being reminded each and every time you listen that you are enough right now, and that you can connect with your inner voice and hear that on a daily, hourly basis. If you want to join me, I would love that. I can't wait to thank the next patrons that are going to be coming in, the next worthy crusaders that are going to be coming in. So head on over to kellycovert.com/together and join with me as a worthy crusader. And as always, I want to remind you, you matter. What you're doing in this world is important, and we need you to shine brightly, to bring your gifts and to use them to serve and to be exactly who you are.